If you want to have tax income and such, of course you need to have a settlement. And you have to, as I showed you in the part about the different categories, you have to have a special type of terrain for each category, because else don't really want to found a settlement in a bog, for example. And when you do, you have to have the hex cleared, or of course clear it yourself. And how you do that is explained in the basic rules. But you're not going to found a city, you're going to found a hamlet that you hopefully will grow into something bigger. The investment you need to build a hamlet and to attract settlers will be dependent on the type of terrain you build the hex in. And as you can tell, you can also build a lake town. Settlements need food, and you start out here with a hamlet. And when you do, you start out with, you have attracted 20 people to live there. And of course, if they're human, they come from Norvik. If they are elven, they come from the elven realm, etc., etc. They come from somewhere. You need, if you have a garrison also in a hex, if you just want to garrison a hex, you still need to feed them somehow. And if they're more than 50, they cannot survive by foraging alone, so you have to have some sort of, maybe a supply train or something. A hamlet grows into a village if there are more than 50 individuals there. And if there are more than 201, it will grow into a town. And then it starts to become a little bit more complex. Of course, you need a garrison for each group of 50 individuals in the settlement to have, unless if you don't have it, you just have a lack of security, which of course will influence population growth and so forth. A town, if you want the town to grow into a city, you need access to large-scale trade that I talked about the last time when I talked about taxes and such, via river, road or harbor, with one city, 2 towns, 4 villages, or 1 town and 2 villages. And you need access to industrial minerals and coal. Or you can have a large-scale trade with a settlement that does. If you have a coastal town with access to a harbor and direct access to the sea via river or the sea itself, you will be assumed to have this type of trade with the old world, and therefore you can still grow it into a city. Now, a city is a different thing altogether. It can continue to grow as long as you keep investing in it. Typically, a town will turn into a city when it has 1,201 inhabitants, and initially a city will have a population limit of 1,300, unless of course you invest in it. And every time you invest in the city, you increase that size limit by 100. And by investing, it means that you, for example, build something that they want to have there. Here's an example of the city. As the city grows, more space will be needed for infrastructure, and this is what you invest in: public libraries, amphitheaters, public baths, sports arenas, theaters, sewers, silos, and so forth. And the more of this you have, the bigger the city can become. But there's also a limit based on terrain, because if you have a bog city, a lot of it will be boggy and you can't really live there. Forest tax cannot become a city in the sense that if it does, it will become either a bog hex or an open hex immediately, or automatically, because you cut down all the trees. Otherwise you can't have a city there. Hill hex has limitations, mountain, and so forth. So the city can only grow to a certain size based on the type of terrain, and you have to invest in it in order to make it grow. And it can also decline, of course. The settlement will grow or decline. Here's a little piece about how the Game Master needs to run the NPC rounds. And your administration die roll result will influence it. And for humans, the first year of the campaign, human settlements can experience growth from settlers from the old world, pouring into Nordic, right? And so each month, your settlement will gain like 0 to 5 individuals. But of course only if you have paid for the registered claims. Otherwise, Garrod the Great will make sure to send them elsewhere. Always blackmail, right? Natural growth, people will procreate. You have a monthly natural growth from that, modified by race. Renown, if you're a really popular ruler, more people will want to live there. If you have excess food, or indeed trade, large-scale trade with a settlement that has excess food, you will have more monthly growth. If you have a temple, this will dramatically increase your growth. 3 temples you can have, right? And this will, because they can provide medical aid and, people will live longer and not die as much, as often. Ruler investment. You can invest even in a hamlet. You spend a gold to build something that people like and they want to live there. And of course, a city, this is actually where the rule about that is. Each investment increases the population limit by 100. So you have to invest a lot of money, 25 gold, for the city to grow. Then you have a decline if you have a starvation. If you don't have enough food, which is not really a problem for a hamlet because they have less than 50 individuals. And as you can remember, if you have less than 50 individuals, they don't starve because they can survive by hunting and foraging and such. But they will still die from starvation if they are under a blockade. If you don't have lack of trade, your city only will decline. If you have lack of security, you will see a dramatic decline. People will move away or get killed by criminals or something. And of course the need for the need for garrison will increase if you have slaves, because they're not naughty beings often. A thieves guild will adjust the population negatively, because they provide crime, right? People don't like that. Commissions, they are naughty people, and they will kidnap children and send them away to be sold as slaves in foreign lands. So the more commissions you have, the worse it is. And then you have some cults, the Daughters of Hell, basically a bunch of vampires. They grow at a rate of 1 per month, and for every 6 full members, this will monthly adjust the population by that. So if you have this vampire cult in your city, not good. And of course, you can, using adventurers or your garrison, you can find them, arrest them, and kill them, execute them. Another cult, and so forth. And here you have some rules. If they're just moving away, they're not dying, they will of course not just disappear from the campaign, they will go to another realm. Or sometimes they just return to the old world. They get sick and tired of it. They move back home to the old world. Then of course you have natural events. Floods, fires, plague. You don't have plagues in elven settlements though. And of course the number of healing individuals, like bards, elves, rangers and sorcerers, will dramatically reduce the number of dead if there is a plague. And an NPC temple will do the same. If you have a character in a city when there's a fire or flood or a plague, of course there's a chance that your character will be exposed to this. Maybe you have to swim to safety or jump out from a burning building or indeed survive the disease. And if you have large-scale trade with others, maybe they get the disease as well. You have a sheet back here for your settlement. You have a settlement sheet. And you can write all the details you want, and you can draw the settlement in the hex. That's the reason why you had the size, the measurements for each type of settlement, because maybe a hamlet will take up this much, but a city will take up all that, right? So you can draw the city if you like to. You have the name for a city, type of city, who's the administrator, what terrain type is it, hex ID if you have that, tax income, and so forth. Large-scale trade with whom, blah blah blah, temples, known factions in the settlement. So you can also fill out this. There are some small details that I left out now, but this is the basics really. The next time I will talk about settlement administrations. That is how you administer these settlements. So until then, Bye bye.